don't know if this is going to work with the internet, but I'm going to try my best. I'm back, sort of. I don't know if this is going to work at all. Because my internet's not the greatest. But I am going to have to change the format of things because I'm now in the van and I have not yet sorted out how to get videos to happen. So we're doing a live instead. I'm sorry I've been gone for so long. A lot has happened for me in the last like 8 months or however long it's been. Um, so maybe we should start with the live update and then I'll move into the books that I have here. I've got a big box to share with you. First thing, I'll probably have to do lives like this once a month or so for the next little while until I am properly back on my feet. But I feel like it's been too long and I wanted to give you guys something. So that's why we are here doing this format. I know it's not ideal, but it's the best I can do at the moment. If you hear noises in the background, it is because I have a baby. I had my baby. I now am a mother of two, which is wild. Her name is Olive. She is wonderful and beautiful. And yes, very blessed to have her. She may start crying at me, and if so, I'll jump up quickly and try and help her. Or we might have to split this into two parts. Whatever happens, happens. You guys are gonna have to bear with me as things are just still crazy. But yeah, we're gonna make something happen to get back to you guys. Thank you for everyone who checked on me the last little while. I know I just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. So thank you to everyone that did reach out. I really appreciate that. You have all been in my heart, and I can't tell you the level of guilt I felt for not doing these videos and not like replying or checking in with people, or even watching other booktuber videos of the people that I love. So yeah, sorry about all of that. I do endeavor to try and make up for it and make it all work again. But yes, here we are. So another change. Willow's at daycare 2 days a week, so I'm gonna try and make those booktube days rather than when she is here, because that is just not gonna happen. It hasn't been happening. That's kind of been the main reason. Is I've just been looking after the two girls myself during the day, and so it's just been crazy. But also I have no idea how to look at the chat on here, so I can't reply live, but I will go back and reply. But yes, what's happened for me the last little while? I finished my degree, so I now have my counseling degree. I had a baby. I then just fell apart, honestly. God has been good, but I honestly fell apart and I ended up in a psych ward for a little bit. I have moved into the caravan, which is mostly finished. There's some cosmetic-y things like we're missing doors on some cupboards and there's some painting to do and that kind of thing, adding extra shelving. But for the most part, it's finished. So we are living here full time. It is just been crazy. We've had a bunch of outside influence join the party as well, different organizations and stuff trying to help us. Lots of people getting involved, but it's getting better and it's getting more manageable for me every day, so that is a blessing. God has been good. The amount of love I have received in the last little while has changed my life, honestly. Like, it's obviously always been there, but in terms of me actually being able to see it, it is definitely hitting different now. So that is good, and was a necessary thing. So a lot has happened. That probably doesn't sound like very much, I guess, But for me, that has been a lot. And there's more that I can't really share with you online, but that's kind of the gist of it. Yeah, but if you guys want any specific videos or chat with me type things, let me know. Any Q&As, that kind of thing. I am happy to answer some questions where I can. I'm happy to show you guys the van once I've cleaned up a little bit, because living in a small space with a 3-year-old is very difficult to keep clean longer than 5 seconds. So I might have to do a nice tidy up one day when she's at daycare, and then immediately film it for you guys so you can actually see what it looks like. But yeah, there is all of us living in here. It's a little 16-foot van, so it's not very big. We do have a toilet and shower though, and we do have a little kitchen where I can make food. So we're managing and it's okay. And we are actually having a ball living in the van. I also have books to share with you guys. I know that's why you're all here, obviously. Okay, let's start. I'm just going to start pulling them out in any random order. So most of them are unfortunately mental healthy, because obviously that's been on my mind the last little while. So yes, but there has been some fantasy in there too for you guys. That's the whole reason you're here. First one is Building a Life Worth Living, Marsha Linehan. I have officially been diagnosed with borderline personality now. So there has been some of my own research going into that. And this is Marsha's book. She has BPD. She created a therapy called DBT, or dialectical behavior therapy. And yeah, I was recommended this. I honestly didn't love it very much. And yeah, I would recommend it if you're just fascinated by her life, but in terms of uh taking up her methods, I will personally not do that. But that's just me. I then read this amazing book which has changed my life, and I need to read again and implement more. But this is John Mark Comer's The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. I highly recommend this book. This is a 5 out of 5 star read for me. So definitely read it. There's obviously some things in here I don't agree with, because with nonfiction, I don't think I've ever fully agreed with anyone's points, but like 99% of it is gold. And I totally agree. I do think society needs to shift into more slow living, and just breathing more. So yes, implementing the Sabbath more so than we do in modern day society. Taking that time to rest, taking that time to be quiet with God, doing those things, not constantly feeling like you have to be somewhere or do something or you've missed something. So yes, read that. I got The Plague by Albert Camus. I don't know why this book is so beat up, but that's fine. I DNF'd this. Honestly, I thought I'd really love it, and I'm kind of disappointed. Because it's like, from the blurb, it totally sounds like the kind of sci-fi thing that I would love. But oh my goodness, it's just so slow. Like and the way it's like formatted, I don't think I loved. Because it's like this guy, I don't know, he's like kind of telling it from like a post, what's it called, like looking back on it, and he's like writing an article or something about it. I can't quite remember. But it was like very sciencey and just boring. So I never got to the fun actiony sci-fi bit really, because it was just a whole bunch of explaining and talking and setting background that I felt was very unnecessary to do, at least with that much detail. So didn't like that one. Then I started reading The Body Keeps the Score. I haven't finished this one, but I thought I'd just show it to you because honestly I probably am not going to get to it for a long time again. But this book is purely good for like if you are getting into therapy or you're just interested in what might be going on for you, I don't love his worldview, so I don't agree with some of his stuff outside of the scientific proof, I guess, that he has to say, like why it is this way or where it came from, that kind of thing, because it doesn't align biblically. But I find it fascinating how there is proof that God has made us whole beings, right? That like if your mind's not working, your body's probably going to be suffering, and vice versa. So yes, that was good. Another disappointment. Oh my goodness. And it might just be that I wasn't in the headspace to appropriately read this book. But I read this book. I had been waiting for this book for so long, and I finally was able to afford it. So I bought it, so excited, jumped right in. It sucked me in straight away. But the ending is atrocious. It does not have a happy ending. Do not read it if you want a happy ending. I don't know why I didn't realize it didn't have a happy ending. And boy, it broke my heart, honestly. Like for days, I was recovering from this one. So maybe that is a positive review. Maybe you want to feel that way. I don't know. I'm assuming that was the author's intention. So it was obviously good writing, but I couldn't handle it at the time. But this book is about a biracial girl who grows up in like older Japan, and she is like the bastard child of this very rich royalty type family in Japan when they had royalty. And yeah, she is so abused and so mistreated, and it's just awful. And like you said, she latches on to people and the choices she makes and the decisions she comes to and self-worth she has to struggle with because of this circumstance that she's raised in, and it's heartbreaking. So yeah, probably wasn't a good time to read it, but it was written so well that I wouldn't mind reading some of the author's other books, just because she's clearly a very good writer. You can hear Olive in the background blowing raspberries. But yes, it was really good. I did really enjoy it, except for the ending, just because it was too heartbreaking. I'd hoped that it would end a bit happier, and like right before the end, it gives you that inclination as if, oh, this is finally taking a good turn, and then no. So read it at your own risk. It is very well written. I wouldn't not recommend it. I'm just bitter about the ending, because I like happy endings. I also read The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson. This was a great book. I did really like it. I even got, guys, a life-changing moment happened in the last few months. My husband read a book. It was life-changing. Anyway, he read this one specifically. He loved it. I'd really hoped that he would keep reading other books afterwards. It hasn't happened, but that's fine. Maybe one day. But he loved it. He said it's the best book he's ever read. Which, I mean, take that with what you will. He's not a huge reader. But I also agree that it was very good. I would say it's definitely up there in Brandon Sanderson's best books. I don't know if I would give it a 5 out of 5, just because for me Brandon Sanderson books are like next level, but it's definitely up there. It's definitely worth your time if you like fantasy or sci-fi. This kind of book is where you want to be. It is standalone, but it is set in the cosmic universe he has created. It's set lots in the future, and there is a couple of characters that appear in other things. So if you have read more Sanderson, you'll probably appreciate the nods to different things in here. I loved the concept. It was very good. It's very fast paced. You can read it very quickly and easily. it was a bit touching. It was a bit touching in a good way. It wasn't as devastating as some of his other things. It definitely had devastating bits because it's Brandon Sanderson, but it wasn't soul crushing. Although, okay, there was one bit that was really sad, but I'm choosing to pretend it didn't happen. Then I read How to Pray by C.S. Lewis. This is a conglomerate of stuff that people have compiled from his various works and shoved together. As a result, it was not easy to read. It was very jumpy. It almost felt like sometimes things were out of context. So I didn't love it. I don't know that I'd really recommend it. I honestly didn't get anything out of it because I just felt so distracted by the format that I couldn't absorb what he was really saying. Been a bad time to read, but yeah, I wouldn't say don't give it a try. I just would say you have to be willing to read a certain style to enjoy it. I read The Heart of Anger. This book, I have so many mixed feelings about. I definitely agree with some of the points, but I also feel like they missed a lot as well. And so it basically ended up being a guilt trip. When I don't believe that anger is always that. I definitely think that they had some good biblical points and biblical truths in there. But I'd be very mindful when you're reading this of the season of life you read it in, and be very prayerful about it. Yeah, that's my preface for that. I read Dirty Laundry. This is a book by Richard Pink and Roxanne Emery from ADHD Love on Instagram. I have their other book too, which I haven't got to yet, but I read this because ADHD has been another thing that's popped up in my life. So they, were going through for her, because Roxanne's the one that has the ADHD in their relationship, how like some key things that she struggles with, to basically see if you relate to any of those. And then her husband did his perspective of having to live with that. And it was very, very interesting. Mine is a little bit different to hers, so I can relate to the specific examples, but some of the like topics, the broader topics, I definitely related to. So that was fun. If you've got ADHD or there's people in your life with ADHD, it might be worth your time. She's still going with the raspberries. When the Darkness Will Not Lift by John Piper. This is also a conglomerate of little bits and pieces that he's taken out of a bigger book that he wrote. It's basically like an excerpt from another book that he wrote with some added thoughts. I had mixed feelings about this one too. Again, I don't know if I should have read anything, honestly, that was nonfiction during this time. It probably did me more harm than good. But yes, I read it all. I definitely felt like there was some things that were relatable, but this was honestly more for someone who is supporting someone who is in this situation, like the way that he words it and reads and the tense he's using is like, oh, if you see someone experiencing this, blah blah blah, rather than, oh, you are experiencing this, here's what you can do. So that was interesting. I definitely would like to have had a conversation with John Piper about it to like actually understand more of his opinion and points and all of that. But it definitely missed the mark for me in terms of what I was looking for at the time. But again, it wasn't a bad book. Just take it as you will. I Did I read this one? I think I did. I think I DNF'd this one. This one, I barely even remember why I DNF'd it. Oh, I think I mostly just DNF'd it because it was really slow. And again, it was more like if you're into the fictional political side of science fiction and fantasy, this is the kind of book you'd probably like. I am not a fan of that. Hang on, I've got to go help a baby. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully that stays. Yes, I was talking about this. Yeah, like the first whole section is just like setting the stage for obviously a much bigger story. But I didn't like the writing style. I didn't like the focus, and just I felt like I just kept reading and nothing actually happened. I was just being given information. So I DNF'd it, but I don't actually know if the rest of the series is any good or if it's clean or not. I would not be able to tell you. Oh, then I read Take Back the Skies. This was actually good. This is part of a series, which I didn't realize when I picked it up, or a duology, maybe. Maybe it's a duology. Olive doesn't want to go to sleep. Yeah, and it is. Hang on. Oh, has she sorted herself out? Maybe not. Okay, hang on. She's at that stage of being a baby where just everything has to go in her mouth, but she also can't reach things very far, so if it falls, it's the end of the world. Okay, so then I read Take Back the Skies, which was really good. It is a duology, I think, but it also could be a trilogy. I can't remember what it said on the inside, but I actually really enjoyed it. I would say it's probably like older middle grade friendly. See, she's just dropped her toy again. Come with me and help me, and I'll keep talking. That works. Everyone say hi, Olive. Hi, Olive. Okay, so I was reading Take Back the Skies. It was really, really good. I found that it was like fast paced enough that it was interesting. It's sci-fi. It's about a rich girl who's like part of like it must be a democracy or something. And her father is like evil, but she like doesn't agree with him, and she like runs away, joins this like skyship thing, and ends up taking down her father. and like all of this stuff. It was super good. It was lots of fun. I recommend it. I also read this amazing book, The Mystery Guest. This is book 2 of this series. The first one's called The Maid. I loved The Maid. I also loved this one. This is great if you like whodunits, but with a different twist, because there is like the main character. She has autism, so she like sees things differently and behaves differently to most people, and her opinion is often not considered worth anything, especially since she's also a maid. So I love it. It's great. I highly recommend these books. I give them 5 out of 5 every time. Olive is just not having it. She's not having it, guys. I thought this might happen. I'm trying to be quick, Olive. I'm trying to be quick. She's just like, give me my toy back. Give me attention. Okay, so then I've got Sky Hunter. I can't remember if I actually already did a video on this or not. Maybe it was one that I had filmed and then never actually released. Because there was definitely a period of time where I tried doing that and then nothing ever happened of it. But we got Sky Hunter, which I liked the story premise, but it was not clean. And so that felt like a kick in the guts a little bit. The concept was amazing though. It is probably that borderline of sci-fi fantasy, where it's like a bit dystopian too, and like there's like these factions or whatever that are at war, and then one side starts developing these people called Sky Hunters, and they're like superhuman basically, all modded out, and one of them rebels and goes to the other side. And it's a duology. Motherhood. Welcome, guys. Welcome. If you are thinking about having children, here's your taste. Hey. Hey. I will try to finish this video, but if she doesn't start calming down, I'll have to do a part 2. I walk away and she's like, no, mommy. No, mommy. Hey. You just want to see everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello. Hey. Hey. She started trying to roll, and so she keeps spinning herself around in her bed, which is why she's not facing the right way. But I'll move her back later. Okay. Was there any others actually that I haven't already shared with you? Actually, there's one left. I feel like there probably was more that I read, but honestly, do I know where they are? No. So we'll just have to call it for today, I think. But this is the last one I'm going to share with you for today, knowing God. I have like 10 pages left, so I'm just going to share it with you today. I am probably going to give it 5 out of 5, even though I don't normally, like, unless they're 5 out of 5, I don't tend to rate nonfiction books. But this one is really good, kind of life-changing. So if you haven't read it, I totally understand why it's a Christian classic and a fundamental. So definitely give it a go. I believe that he is a Calvinist, so depending on where you fit theologically, things might not sit with you well. But I wouldn't put myself in that category, and honestly, I found it fine. I understood where he was coming from and the points he was making, and ultimately he was talking about who God is, and how that affects us rather than actual like Calvinist beliefs or anything. And I think the principles of God are pretty universal across the Christian denominations. But yeah, it's really good. And I have been going through, actually, I'll probably have to reread parts of it because I've been trying to write down bits that I want to keep in my Bible, because I've really gotten into Bible journaling recently, in terms of not like drawing pictures in it or anything, but the actual study notes. I've often tried doing that with Bibles, but I've never had a Bible specifically for that before, like where you actually have room to write notes. So I have started doing that, and I am honestly finding that more helpful than any therapy. So read your Bible, lads. It changes your life. Who knew that? Jokes, everybody knows that. Well, most people know that, I would think, at least in the faith space. But yeah, I highly recommend getting resources to help you with that, because I was trying to do it on my own for a number of years and not really understanding what I was doing, or having anything to help me if I had questions. But I did a Hi guys. I can see the things now. It's coming up. It wasn't coming up before. I've missed you too. I love you guys. I need to get back to watching your videos because I haven't done that. I honestly, this is the first time I've opened my YouTube account since probably March. So sorry guys. I just jumped off the face of the earth. But yes, I have gotten myself some Bible dictionaries and some commentaries to help me. And honestly, now that I know how to use them, because I did a little Bible study how-to course thing, from How to Faith a Life, which she's actually on YouTube, but she also has an Instagram and then her own website. And she has like an inexpensive Bible study course of the things she learnt in seminary. And I found it so helpful, actually. So I would recommend that to you guys if you're interested. Yeah, I think though I need to go be a mother for a bit. So I will leave it there for today. Again, I'm going to try and do a live stream once a month. That's like the minimum. That's the minimum. I've set myself standard. That's the minimum I'm going to try and achieve until I'm back properly on my feet. But yeah, if I can get some more in, like some read with me's or whatever, I will try and do that. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for still being part of my little community. Yeah, sorry about the disappearance, and I endeavour to better. God bless and have a wonderful week. Bye.